Title: If you hear breathing from under your bed, do not check, just leave the house. I've never believed in monsters. Not really. I've laughed through horror movies, rolled my eyes at ghost stories, and lived alone for most of my adult life without so much as a nightlight. But that all changed last month when I moved into a small, oddly cheap rental house just outside town. It was the kind of place you'd call cozy if you wanted to be polite. Old wooden floors, creaky doors, and the unmistakable scent of time soaked into the walls. The landlady, an older woman with a crooked smile and an unsettling stare, handed me the keys with a casual warning. Don't look under the bed after midnight. And never answer if it breathes. I thought she was joking. Some weird local legend or a scare tactic to keep tenants from snooping around. I nodded, smiled, and forgot about it. Until the first night. Around 12:30 a.m., just as I was dozing off, I heard it. A faint, wet breathing. Not my own. Not the hum of the heater or wind outside. It was rhythmic, too low to be human. It came from beneath my bed. I froze. Every childhood fear I'd ever suppressed surged to the surface. But I'm an adult. I'm logical. I slid off the bed, phone flashlight in hand, crouched, and I saw nothing. But the moment I lay back down, the breathing resumed. It continued for the next 3 nights. Always after midnight. Always from underneath. Sometimes it sounded closer, other times further away. One night, it giggled. A hoarse, gurgling chuckle that made my skin prickle. I called the landlady, trying to act like I wasn't losing my mind. All she said was, "You looked, didn't you? Now you've let it know you see it. You need to follow the rules now if you want to survive." She hung up. No explanation. Just rules, hastily texted to me seconds later. Rules for the thing under the bed. 1. Do not sleep directly on the floor. Ever. 2. Do not leave your limbs hanging off the bed. If it touches you, you'll lose the limb by morning. 3. Do not make eye contact if you see it crawling out. Pretend you're asleep. 4. If it whispers your name, do not respond. Not even a breath. 5. If the breathing stops, run. That night, I stayed up. I wanted to believe this was all some elaborate prank or sleep-deprived delusion. But around 2:14 a.m., I heard the closet door creak open. My closet had no lock. No wind. And I hadn't touched it. The breathing had stopped. I remembered rule number 5. Heart pounding, I sprinted out the door and slept in my car. Come morning, I went back in. Everything was in place. Closet closed. Bed made. But I found deep scratch marks on the inside of the closet door. Long, uneven grooves like claws, or fingernails, had been dragged down the wood. I haven't slept in the house since. I tried staying at friends' places, hotels, even considered moving. But the breathing followed. I started hearing it in motel rooms, in the backseats of Ubers, even once, horrifyingly, in a hospital waiting room while I was trying to catch a nap on a bench. I think the rules only delayed it. Looking under the bed was the mistake. Acknowledging it gave it form, gave it permission. Now, it doesn't need the bed anymore. Last night, I heard it again. But this time, it was under the couch I was sleeping on. So if you ever rent a cheap little house with an old bed and a weird warning from the landlord, don't be brave. Don't check. Don't listen. And if you hear breathing from under your bed, do not check. Just leave the house. But I didn't. I tried to outsmart it. I bought salt. Lots of it. I'd read somewhere that spirits or demons hate the stuff. I poured thick lines of salt across every doorway and around the bed, creating a sacred little island of fake safety. I taped mirrors under the frame, thinking maybe if it could see itself, it would vanish, or burn, or scream. Nothing happened the first night, but the second night, the salt lines broke. Not scattered. Broken. As if someone, or something, had stepped over them. Perfect footprints in the grains. 5 toes. Long. Wrong. Like the feet were bent backwards, the nails sharp and cracked. But no trail in or out. Just standing there by the bed. That night, I woke up gasping. Not from a nightmare, but from pressure. Heavy weight on my chest, like someone was sitting on me. My arms couldn't move. My voice caught in my throat. In the silence, the breathing was right next to my face. Hot, wet, and not quite human. I could smell it this time, rotting leaves and mold and something older, like the way forgotten basements feel. My eyes darted to the mirror I'd taped beneath the bed, and I saw it. It wasn't a clear reflection. The thing was always just off. Its body was coiled and broken, like it had too many joints in all the wrong places. It had no eyes, just dark pits that oozed shadow. And its mouth was too wide. It grinned. It knew I was watching. The mirror cracked in the middle as its head jerked toward me, then everything went black. I woke up the next morning, drenched in sweat and blood. Nosebleed. Or at least I hope it was my blood. The mirror was shattered. The salt had been swept into a circle around me, like it had rearranged the barrier to keep me in. That's when I understood. The rules weren't to keep it out. They were to keep me from noticing it was already there. I tried burning the bed. Took it out to the backyard, doused it in lighter fluid, and set it ablaze. It screamed. Not the fire, the bed. A wail so loud it rattled windows and made the neighbor's dog yelp and bolt. The flames turned green. Something crawled out of the fire, dragging itself back toward the house before crumbling into a pile of ash. I ran. Took nothing. Didn't lock the door. I drove 8 hours straight to my brother's place in another state, thinking distance would save me. It didn't. He offered me his guest room. Nice enough, modern bed, no squeaks. I was exhausted. I fell asleep quickly. And woke up at 4:44 a.m. to the sound of breathing. Again. But this time, it wasn't under the bed. It was inside the mattress. I screamed. My brother burst in. The mattress buckled and something slipped out through the seams, thin fingers first, then a long, pale arm. He saw it. We both did. He yanked me out of the room and slammed the door. We burned that bed too. Moved out the next day. And still, every few nights, no matter where I sleep, I wake up to the breathing. I can't stop it. I can't escape it. I think destroying the bed only made it angrier. Or maybe I carried it with me the first time I looked under. Maybe it wears my fear like a key. I don't know how long I have before it doesn't wait until I'm asleep. Updated rules for the thing. 1. Don't look under the bed. Ever. Not once. 2. If it breathes, ignore it. Responding gives it power. 3. Don't destroy the bed. It only relocates to somewhere worse. 4. Never sleep alone for more than 2 nights in a row. It feeds on isolation. 5. If it enters the mattress, it's too late. Say goodbye. I'm writing this from a diner on the side of the highway. Haven't slept in 3 days. I'm afraid if I do, it'll find a way to come through the booth seat. If you ever hear breathing from under your bed, don't be curious. Don't be brave. And whatever you do, never answer when it whispers your name. The problem is, at some point, it stops whispering. It starts talking. Clearer. Louder. Closer. It begins to sound like someone you know. A loved one. A voice you'd recognize through a crowd. The night after I left the diner, I tried crashing in an old motel, the kind with flickering vacancy signs and peeling wallpaper. I figured the constant noise of the highway might help me sleep. I left the light on. I wedged a chair under the door. Still, at 3:33 a.m., the old rotary phone rang. It startled me so bad I nearly screamed. I picked it up. There was no dial tone, just breathing. And then, my mother's voice. "Sweetheart," she said, trembling. "It's here. It's standing in the room with you. Don't look. Don't speak. Just listen." But I knew my mom was thousands of miles away, asleep in her own bed. And then the voice shifted. Still her voice. But wrong. It started laughing, then screaming. The phone sizzled in my hand, growing hot, until I dropped it, and it cracked open, leaking something thick and dark onto the carpet. I didn't sleep again that night. The next evening, I left the motel and took a sleeping pill in a rest stop bathroom, figuring unconsciousness would be better than paranoia. I woke up at 5:55 a.m., in the back seat of my locked car. With someone else's handprint on the inside of the windshield. Not mine. Too long. Too thin. I left the car behind. People online think I'm just paranoid. They treat this like fiction. I tried posting about it once. A subreddit called r/paranormal. I detailed everything, the bed, the breathing, the rules. My post was removed within an hour. The mod sent me a message. "Do not spread it. Names have power. Places too. You're not the first. You won't be the last." I've tried everything. Priests, witches, even some creepy guy on Reddit who swore he could bind spirits to dead rats. Don't ask, the only thing that even slightly helped? A rule I read carved into the underside of a park bench in an abandoned rest stop. If it calls your name 3 times in one night, plug your ears and hum until sunrise. If you hear silence, you're already dead. The first time it happened to me, I did just that. It whispered once at 2:02. Again at 3:03. Then at 4:04, it was right behind me, voice wrapped in honey and rot. Eli. 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 I jammed my fingers into my ears and hummed until my throat bled. When the sun came up, the mirror in the gas station bathroom I'd hidden in was shattered again. But I was still alive. Barely. But last night, it didn't whisper. It sang. A lullaby in reverse. Each note pulling at something in my spine, making my limbs feel loose, like I was being unstitched from reality. I'm losing time. Hours blink away like skipped frames in a film. I'll be standing in one place, and then suddenly I'm in another town, or another room, with scratches on my arms and mud on my shoes. Once I woke up in a crawl space, hugging a decayed teddy bear, with hundreds of bite marks on the walls around me. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just whispered, "Not tonight." Because I know I'm getting close to the end. Final, unwritten rules I've learned too late. 6. Do not speak to it, even if it sounds like someone you love. 7. If it calls 3 times in a night, do not let it finish the third. Silence is death. 8. Never post its name online. Never describe it too clearly. 9. Mirrors invite it. Beds are its gateway. 10. If it starts to sing, it already knows where your soul sleeps. I'm writing this from a library computer in a town I don't remember driving to. The lights are flickering. It's almost midnight. I hear it now, walking softly between the shelves, humming. I know it's coming for me. So I'll leave this here for the next poor soul who searches for answers. If you feel breath on your neck when you're alone in bed. If you hear your name whispered from the shadows. If the clock hits 4:44 and your bed creaks. Don't check. Don't speak. Don't even move. Just run. While you still can.